what will the Republicans be campaigning on between now and the midterm elections, which are, you gotta bear in mind, they're like 14 months away. Like it is gonna be here before you know it. Well, they have appeared to crystallize behind a strategy, and a lot of it has to do with the pandemic. Not about doing something about the pandemic, but attacking those who are doing something about it. So Fire Fauci, a reference to infectious disease expert Dr. Anthony Fauci, has become a new rallying cry on the right. Some campaigns even sell anti-Fauci merchandise. We've profiled Ron DeSantis doing that. How's that working with the current state of COVID in Florida? Senator Rand Paul, a Kentucky Republican and doctor, recently went on a tirade against the CDC and brazenly called on the public to defy health protocols. So he literally said, they can't arrest us all, okay? GOP strategist Doug High says there's practically no one in America who isn't tired and frustrated with wearing masks. For Republicans, they very clearly see something that they can tap into right here, and they are trying to do that. Several red states have imposed bans on mask mandates. Ron DeSantis, Greg Abbott did that. In Washington, Republicans from both ends of the Capitol have introduced a stack of bills to prohibit federal vaccine passports, repeal mask mandates, and eliminate Fauci's salary, I guess as a prelude to locking him up. They're attacking the CDC. So House Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy said the CDC has become a political arm of the administration. It wants to control every element of our life. I guess he didn't have a problem when it was a political arm of the Trump administration, when it was doing the exact same thing under a Republican president, I guess, JR. But anyway, Biden is bad, Fauci is bad, the mandates are bad, and the CDC is bad. That is the one thing that they all seem to be able to agree on. How do you think that will work as a strategy? Is that strategist right? People are frustrated with it, they're sick of it. Is this what they can use to ride to taking back over Congress and the Senate?
Yes. Yeah. It shouldn't, but yes, that's where we've fallen at this point. I mean, after we had the last few cycles with Donald Trump and midterms and things like that, the things they tried to pull, also in 20, as far as down ticket things, and the number of people who believe it to this day, I think a third of Republicans still think Donald Trump is coming back in 2 days. So there's no reason to believe that people aren't gonna buy this. There's enough people in the country that are mad about mask mandates, especially with kids going to school now. And then as more kids get sick as they are, that's gonna still go back to, hey, that's Fauci's fault for being back and forth on these mask mandates when he hasn't been. That's been states' issues that they've been trying to put in place and to punish school districts. So no, they'll continue to destroy things like that. And then they can go and talk about how the top is doing it when they have a level of control over people's lives that they just don't want to point out. And as they do it, they'll destroy things, hurt more people, and then blame the people in power. That's how it works. This is the same strategy as anything else. It's just a matter of what the political atmosphere happens to be, or I'm sorry, what the political topics happen to be during this cycle. It's the same thing. So what are you going to do is the next question. Every debate that a Democrat has with a Republican during these midterms should be like, so what are you gonna do? They don't have that answer.
I will stop them from ramming things down your throat. I will do other vague things that don't mean anything. That's what they'll do. Look, I don't even think that this is a good strategy necessarily, but I do have to keep it real. I don't think they need to have a good strategy right now. I don't think the way that the USA is, the way everything is gerrymandered, and it'll be even worse. The fact that the Democrats are probably gonna biff the whole thing for the next year, like it was already gonna be hard for them. Like the pattern in midterms is very difficult for those who have the White House, and they are wasting the time for the most part. And so I think they can follow, the Republicans follow whatever bad strategy they want. And they have like at least a 60% chance of taking over the whole thing.
100%.
So we'll see about this as a strategy. We've got polls here. We don't have time to jump into it, but it's at worst, like most of these things poll, like narrow majorities are generally in favor of all the things they're gonna be running against for the most part. But in the end, it might not end up mattering.
Check out the Damage Report podcast each day, wherever you get your podcasts, whether Pocket Casts or Stitcher or iTunes. You can join me as I give you the news and stories you want, with a range of co-hosts and interview guests jumping in on the fun each day. Again, that's the Damage Report, wherever you get your podcasts. And if you get them at iTunes, don't forget to rate and review. Sometimes I'll read them live on the show.